Now we're into James chapter 3, reading from John Gill's The Introduction to James chapter 3. In this chapter, the apostle cautions against censoriousness and reproving others with a magisterial air, advises to bridle the tongue, guard against the vices of it, and shows that true wisdom is, and from whence it comes. He advises the saints not to arrogate too much to themselves, and take upon them to be the censorious reprovers of others, which he dissuades from by the consideration of the greater damnation such shall receive, and by the frailty of all men, and a common proneness to offend by words. For he must be a very singular man indeed that does not offend by words. James chapter 3 verse 1, where he exhorts them to watch over their words and bridle their tongues, which he illustrates by the methods used with horses to keep them in subjection, and with ships to turn them as occasion serves and the master pleases. James chapter 3 verse 3. And though the tongue is a little member, and not comparable to a horse or ship for its bulk, yet it boasts of great things, has a world of inquiry in it, and much mischief is done by it, being influenced by the power of hell. Therefore, care, and all possible means, should be used to restrain it. James chapter 3 verse 5. Though it is not tameable by man, only by the Lord, when all sorts of creatures are, even the most fierce and savage, and therefore are worse than they, being in unruly evil, and full of deadly poison. James chapter 3 verse 7. And what is the most monstrous and shocking, blessing and cursing, come out of the same mouth, are pronounced by the same tongue, which is used in blessing God and cursing men made after his image, which by no means ought to be done. James chapter 3 verse 9, and which is not to be paralleled in nature. No instance like it can be given, no fountain sending forth in the same place water sweet and bitter, salt and fresh, or any fig tree bearing olives, or vine figs. James chapter 3 verse 11. And because all this evil springs from a vain opinion men have of their own wisdom, the apostle proceeds to give an account of true wisdom, and observes that shows itself in good works, in a holy conversation, attended with meekness and humility, and not in envying, strife, and lies. James chapter 3 verse 13. Such sort of wisdom is not from heaven, but of the earth. It is not rational. It is no better than that of brutes, yea, no other than that of devils. Since where the above sins prevail, it is a hell on earth. There is nothing but confusion, and everything that is vile and wicked. James chapter 3 verse 15. But on the other hand, true wisdom is of an heavenly origin, of a pure, peaceable, gentle, tractable nature, and is full of good fruits or works in its effects, particularly mercy, and is clear of partiality and hypocrisy. James chapter 3 verse 17. And as one of its fruits is righteousness, there is sown in peace by the peacemaker, and produces it. James chapter 3 verse 18. This ends the introduction of chapter 3 by John Gill.